We've been taking a Ruger Mark IV target and we've been pimping it out and doing all kinds of cool stuff to it. First thing that we did was the volquartsen drop-in trigger kit, brought it down to about a 2-pound pull, sometimes a 1.75 pound pull. So super nice trigger, very short take up and reset. I was so impressed with the volquartsen trigger that we picked up the volquartsen LLV4 upper receiver. Now these receivers are very interesting and they have a lot going on with them. If you see anything in this video that you might want to pick up for your build or anything like that, if you're watching on YouTube, just check the very first couple of links down in the description. It will take you to where you can find a full build list with coupon codes for everything. And that's because YouTube won't let us put links down in the description that link to sites that sell gun parts. So just check the first link. It'll take you to another page where you can find the build list and coupon codes. If you're watching this on Gunstreamer or Full30, everything will already be there for you. So you're probably looking at this and be like, dude, you got a weapon light on there? What the heck are you thinking? And it's like, yeah, I do. We'll talk more about that here in a bit. Actually, what's funny is 22 Plinkster actually helped me along with this build, like not physically, but via text and phone calls and stuff like that. So a big shout out to 22 Plinkster for helping me with this and giving me advice on parts and things like that. Love you, brother. I'll see you in a couple months probably. This has been a blast to shoot. Now I did have a couple of issues when I first installed this volquartsen trigger. At first I thought it was ammo related. 22 Plinkster told me, hey bro, you got to get the volquartsen Sure Strike firing pin and it will solve all your problems. And he was absolutely correct. I picked up the volquartsen firing pin and I haven't had a light strike since I installed it, and we're going on another 200 rounds through it since I installed the firing pin. So with all that being said, guys, let's dive up close. Let's take a look at this crazy upper receiver, and then at the very end we're going to talk about whether or not I think it's worth the money or if it's something that I would do again.
So here we are, guys, up close and personal with the 22 long rifle Robocop Blaster. I think that's literally what it looks like. If you haven't seen my other videos, guys, like I mentioned earlier, just check the links down in the description. You can see the the previous videos I've done on the Ruger Mark IV, and then you can also find all the links and coupon codes for all these products that we have on this build. And first off, we already did a video, a review and an install video for this volquartsen Ruger Mark IV trigger. Check out, I'm just gonna do one dry fire and reset for you. So there's take up, break, reset, break. That's all I'm gonna do because you're not theoretically supposed to dry fire these, but I wanted to do it for you guys. I really wanted to do a Ruger Mark IV build just because I love how easy they are to take apart. Just like that. So when you purchase the Ruger Mark IV LLV uppers, you can get them in a few different configurations. This one is in the 4.5-inch configuration. You can get it with or without the compensator. There is about $100 difference between getting it with or without the compensator. You can also get this as a 6-inch upper if you like, or you can just get it the way that I got it. In the box is included a special tool that you can use to take off this compensator. Here is your thread if you wanted to add a different compensator or a suppressor. I don't know what the thread pitch is. I was looking on volquartsen's site and I don't see it. Other cool thing is it comes with this really nice set. Let me put my PewTuber patch right here and so we can see these sights. Comes with a very nice set of target blacked out sights on here, adjustable for windage and elevation, which is really nice. You also got your Picatinny rail right up here on the top, as well as on the bottom for your weapon lights or standoff devices or red dots or scopes, whatever you want to put on these. I've actually seen people put low-powered scopes on these and shoot the crap out of them. So you don't get the bolt. You can either buy one of their bolts or you can use the bolt that came with your Ruger Mark IV. Completely up to you. In this bolt, I do have the volquartsen Sure Strike titanium firing pin, and it has alleviated 100% of my light primer strikes that I was having. Because with this trigger right here, I don't know if this will work, but let's see. Yeah. So this spring that makes that hammer go forward actually has a lightened spring in it. And so I was getting a lot of light primer strikes. Volquartsen did tell me that they have fixed that issue with all of their new volquartsen Mark IV triggers. However, mine isn't like that. So I got the Sure Strike firing pin. But if you do find yourself in a position getting a lot of light strikes and you know that you don't have like the crappiest ammunition, definitely get the firing pin. It will change your life. The upper receiver is aluminum and it also has a Type 3 mil-spec hard coat anodized finished on it, for corrosion and wear. This does come in about 6 different variations with or without the compensator, or in a longer or shorter version. This just happens to be the 4.5 inch with the compensator that I got right here. Here's my standard Mark IV target upper right here, and you can see a huge difference in the way that these are designed. Right here you have a removable ejector. Over here I'm sure it's removable, but it's not, you're not able to remove it with an Allen wrench. Moving up here to the front, right up in here, especially where the breech face is, you can really tell that this has been beefed up. This is a stainless steel breech face, so it should be able to run a lot longer and through more rounds than this one, theoretically. They got some reinforced steel down in here where it attaches to your lower receiver, so that will just make it made up a lot tighter and therefore making it a lot more accurate. The barrel itself is a 1 in 16 twist rate, and it's made of a 416R stainless steel, so that's all match grade quality stuff as well. So let's put it back together. Jump up top real fast. Let's talk about how it shoots at the range, and then let's talk about if I think it's worth the money, and if it were my money that was in this, if I would do this build in the same way over again.
So back up top. So what do you guys think of the volquartsen upper receiver and trigger kit on the Ruger Mark IV target? Let me know down in the comments what you think. I'd love to hear your guys' feedback about this. I think this has a lot going on with it, but I think that this is also gonna be for a specific type of person. The reason I say that is it is very pricey. This upper receiver right here doesn't come with the bolt. I'm using the factory bolt that comes with the Ruger Mark IV. It is literally just an upper receiver with target sights and the compensator right here, and it costs about the same as an actual Ruger Mark IV. You might be wondering, well, why the heck would you buy it, and why do you need a compensator on a 22 long rifle? And that's a great question. This is going to be for someone out there who actually wants to do competition shooting, or is really interested in just doing really precise shooting and shooting very fast. Now, 22 long rifle does not have much recoil, if any, at all. However, I can say with 100% certainty that I noticed a huge difference on how flat this shoots and the recoil impulse that I feel in my hand, you know, when I actually press out and start going bang, bang, bang. Adding the light to it, that was the only reason I added the light. I don't really care about using a light on this gun because this is not a defense weapon, but it does add a little bit more weight to the front, thus adding more stability and able to shoot a lot faster and a lot more accurately. It's kind of an interesting thing, and like I said, this is going to be a very niche product. It won't be for everyone. You know, if you're on a budget, I would totally suggest getting the Ruger Mark IV Tactical, because it has a top rail and a bottom rail and a threaded barrel, so you can do compensators and all that cool stuff for a lot less. This thing just takes it to the next level. So you're probably asking yourself now, like, okay, I can go buy a Ruger Mark IV Tactical for a lot less and get a lot of the same similar types of performance with it. Why would I buy this upper? Well, this upper has been over-engineered. It has a stainless steel breech face, so it's going to take a lot more of a beating than your standard Ruger Mark IV uppers. Now, something that you should consider when you are purchasing this is with the Rugers, the frame isn't considered the firearm, the upper is, because the upper is the serialized portion of this. So if this is something you want to pick up, you're going to have this transferred to your local FFL, so you can go in and get a background check in order to take delivery of this upper. It will not come to your house. Anywho, what would I say about this? I would say if money is not a problem for you and you just want the best of the best, then this is definitely the way to go. It is awesome. I love the fact that it has the included compensator, even though you don't really need it. I like the fact that you could slap a red dot on the top, no problems, and get some really nice shooting going on. Super easy to shoot very fast, especially with this trigger. So here's the way I would put it. If I was gonna do this over and I was gonna use my very own money to purchase everything, I would probably purchase the Ruger Mark IV Tactical, and then I would purchase the volquartsen trigger and use that. You wouldn't get the exact same results or performance, but it would be very close for about half the price. So that's kind of where my head's at with that. But if you're just like one of those people that wants just to have the best of the best, and you want the most badass, I guess, 22 long rifle that money can buy, this is definitely the way to go. So let me know what you think of this entire build down in the comments section below. Yes, I get it. A lot of it's unnecessary, but I'd love to hear you guys' feedback about this because I'm really enjoying it. The only con about this entire upper receiver is probably the price. It's going to eliminate a lot of potential buyers just because it costs the same amount as a full, you know, Ruger Mark IV, but like I said, it is over-engineered. It just kind of comes down to, is it worth the money to you, or not. And to me, it is worth the money, but if I was gonna do it over and build it, I would probably try to go a little bit of a less expensive route. But you know, at the end of the day, it all just kind of comes down to what your personal preferences are. So if you like this video, guys, just go ahead and smash the like button, kick it, do whatever it is that you do, and subscribe if you're not already. I'd love to have you to be a part of the YouTube channel. That would be awesome. But until next time, I love you, and you guys stay sexy.